A wise old man disguised himself as a beggar to test a girl's heart. What she did changed everything, and led to a love story the village would never forget. In the heart of a vibrant village in East Africa, nestled between the rustling acacia trees and rolling savannas, lived an old man named Baba Lema. He was known throughout the village for his wisdom, generosity, and a laugh that echoed like drums after a harvest celebration. But recently that laugh had grown faint. A shadow had crept over Baba Lema's usually bright face. The reason? His only son, Baraka. Baraka was everything a father could wish for. Tall, strong, intelligent, and respected by all. Women in the village blushed when he passed. Mothers whispered prayers that he'd pick their daughters. But Baraka had turned away from all talks of marriage. No matter how many eligible women came forward, he rejected them all, claiming he had no time for love. "Marriage is a distraction, Baba," Baraka would say as he hammered nails into timber for someone's house or fixed the village water pump. "There's too much to build, too many problems to solve." But Baba Lema knew the truth. His son wasn't afraid of love. He was afraid of being loved for the wrong reasons. Years ago, Baraka had been humiliated by a girl from a wealthy family who mocked his plain clothes and humble earnings. Though he had since become successful, her words had left deep scars. He believed all women would only love his status, not his soul. Baba Lema decided to intervene. Not with lectures, not with arranged meetings, but with something clever, something African. A tale as old as time, steeped in trickery, love, and truth. One cool morning, while the sky still wore a shawl of mist, Baba Lema left his house with a tattered cloak draped over his shoulders. He wrapped a dirty headscarf around his graying locks, smeared ash on his skin, and limped with the help of a twisted stick. By the time he passed the first hut, no one recognized him. He had become an old beggar. No one questioned where Baba Lema had gone. He had quietly spread rumors that he was traveling to visit a sick cousin across the river. Meanwhile, he made a little shack on the outskirts of the village, near the old baobab tree, just out of sight but close enough to watch. Every morning, he would walk into the village square, bowl in hand, voice raspy with performance. "Please help an old man. Just a little maize, a coin, anything." Some villagers ignored him. Some gave him scraps. But Baba Lema wasn't interested in food. He was watching. One afternoon, as the sun dropped low and painted everything golden, Baba Lema sat near the well. His bones ached from crouching, but his eyes were alert. That's when he saw her. She was drawing water into a clay pot, her feet bare, her dress patched at the sides but clean. She was humming a soft melody, an old folk song about finding light in the dark. Her name was Amina. She lived with her blind grandmother in a crumbling mud hut at the edge of the village. They were poor, but Amina's spirit was rich. Every morning she walked to the well. Every evening she sold woven baskets to buy medicine. She never complained, never begged. As Amina turned to leave, she saw the old beggar crouched by the well. Without hesitation, she bent down and placed her pot beside him. She opened a cloth and offered him half her mango. "Eat, grandfather," she said softly. "It's ripe. You'll like it." He took it with trembling hands. "Thank you, my child. What is your name?" "Amina." "And do you always feed strangers, Amina?" She smiled. "Strangers are just family we haven't met yet." Baba Lema's heart warmed. Over the next week, Baba Lema watched Amina closely. She gave water to thirsty goats when no one was watching. She helped an old widow carry firewood uphill. She sang for her grandmother every night. She worked, prayed, gave, and loved, with no audience but God. This was the kind of woman he wanted for his son. One evening, he hobbled to the market, where Baraka was repairing a broken cart. The two hadn't seen each other in days. Baraka looked at the beggar with sympathy and handed him a coin without a word. Baba Lema laughed inwardly. "Even my son doesn't recognize me." As the beggar walked away, he dropped the coin near Amina's stall and pretended to stumble. She rushed over, helped him up, and picked the coin off the ground. "Here you go, grandfather," she said, brushing dirt off his robe. "You could have kept it," he said. He shrugged. "What isn't mine won't bring me peace." That was the final sign. The next day, Baba Lema limped to Baraka's workshop and leaned against the wall. "Young man," he rasped, "I need your help. My granddaughter and I live alone, and our roof is falling. Will you help fix it?" Baraka glanced up from his woodwork. He was sweaty, tired, and had 3 unfinished jobs. But something about the old man's voice touched him. "Where is your house?" "By the old baobab." Baraka nodded. "I'll come tomorrow." When he arrived the next day, hammer in hand, he was stunned. The shack was little more than sticks and hope. But the girl who opened the door, she took his breath away. "Mina." She smiled politely and offered him water. Baraka nodded silently, suddenly unsure of himself. He spent the whole day repairing the roof. Amina helped, steadying beams and fetching nails. They talked little, but when they did, her words were kind and calm. She asked nothing about his work, his status, or his earnings. That night, back at home, Baraka couldn't sleep. A week passed. Baraka returned every other day to finish the roof and slowly, to his own surprise, just to see Amina. They would talk about life, about the stars, about dreams. Something in her eyes made him feel seen in a way no one else ever had. Then one day the old man vanished. Baraka knocked on the door. Amina opened it with swollen eyes. "He left at dawn," she said. "He said he had to return to his people. But he left this for you." She handed him a folded cloth. Inside was a small wooden carving, a lion with a broken tooth. Baraka's heart pounded. That carving was his father's signature piece. He used to whittle them while telling bedtime stories. He turned the carving over. Etched beneath was a message. "When love is blind to wealth, only then can it truly see." Baba Lema. Baraka's legs trembled. The beggar, that beggar, was his father. Baraka rushed home. The house was silent. His father's walking stick stood by the door, clean and polished. He found Baba Lema seated calmly in the garden, peeling sugarcane. "You lied to me," Baraka said, eyes wide with emotion. Baba Lema looked up. "I showed you what your eyes had forgotten to see." Baraka sat beside him, speechless. "You've spent years fearing that women only see your success," Baba Lema said. "So I gave you someone who saw you before you arrived." Baraka swallowed hard. "She's different. She's real," Baba Lema smiled. "Now the question is, will you see her heart or will you run from it?" Baraka stared at the sugarcane in his hands. "Sweet, simple, honest, just like Amina." He stood. "I need to talk to her." Baba Lema grinned. "Then go. But don't go as Baraka the builder. Go as the man who listened by the well." Baraka didn't sleep that night. The sky outside was clear, the stars blinking like tiny elders watching over the earth. But inside his heart, a storm brewed. He kept hearing her voice. "What isn't mine won't bring me peace." Over and over. Amina wasn't just kind, she was true. And she had unknowingly passed a test no one else even knew was being given. By dawn, Baraka had made up his mind. He wasn't going to approach her with grand gestures or empty words. He was going to tell her the truth. All of it. About the test, the disguise, plan. And then, he would leave the decision in her hands. The village awoke slowly, the air still heavy with dew. Amina was sweeping the small space outside her hut when Baraka arrived. She looked up in surprise. "Baraka, you came early." He nodded, holding something behind his back. "Can we talk?" She smiled and gestured for him to sit on a log near the well. He didn't sit. He looked her straight in the eyes. "Amina, what I'm about to say might make you angry, or confused, or both. But you deserve the truth." She tilted her head. "All right." Baraka took a deep breath. "The old beggar who asked for help. The one you gave mangoes to. who pretended to be your grandfather. He wasn't a beggar. Amina blinked. What do you mean? Baraka stepped forward. He's my father. Baba Lema. There was a long silence. What? She whispered. He disguised himself, Baraka said softly, because I refused to marry. I told him I couldn't trust love anymore, that people only see the money, not the man. So he tested someone. He tested you. Amina took a small step back, hurt flickering in her eyes. So, it was all a game. No, Baraka said quickly. It wasn't. First, yes, it was a plan. But I didn't know it was you. I didn't know someone like you even existed. He handed her what he had behind his back. Mango. Perfectly ripe. Cut in half. Like the one you gave him. She stared at it for a long moment, her face unreadable. I didn't mean to deceive you, he continued. But now, I see the truth. You're kind when no one is looking. You give even when you have little. And you see people for who they are, not what they own. He lowered his voice. I don't want your forgiveness today, Amina. I just want you to know. See you now. Truly. Amina sat down slowly on the log. She looked at the mango, then at Baraka. I don't know what to say, she said at last. You don't have to say anything, Baraka replied. I only came to be honest. There was a long pause. You know, she finally said, when he left your father, cried. Not because I lost a helper, but because I thought I lost him. I saw him as family. Baraka nodded slowly. And now to know it was all a plan hurts, she whispered. Baraka's heart sank. But, she added, raising her eyes, I also know this. The man who stood by me, helped fix our roof, laughed with my grandmother, and never once tried to impress me. He was real. Baraka swallowed hard. Maybe the test wasn't just for me, Amina said softly. Maybe it was for you too. In the following days, the village buzzed with quiet gossip. Someone had seen Baraka and Amina walking together. Someone else had seen Baba Lema back in his clean robe, smiling to himself like a man who had won a hidden battle. Amina continued with her life, selling baskets, helping her grandmother, and humming as she walked. Baraka didn't pressure her. He would visit sometimes, bringing tools, fixing small things around the house, or simply sitting by the well talking about the stars. Slowly, like the careful carving of wood, something between them began to form. Not rushed, not forced, but real. One evening, Amina invited Baraka inside. Her grandmother was singing an old lullaby. Baraka listened quietly. She says you have good eyes, Amina whispered. Baraka smiled. She can't see. She doesn't need to. They both laughed gently. Weeks passed. The rains came. The earth grew rich with green. Love, too, had begun to bloom like the mariala trees after drought. Then, one morning, Baba Lema gathered the elders of the village under the talking tree. Word spread like fire. Baraka is getting married, he announced with joy. Everyone clapped. Some looked shocked. Others nodded as if they knew all along. The next day, Baraka stood before Amina's home with a basket, not filled with gold or gifts, but with everything she once gave him. A mango, a clean cloth, a cup of water, and the carving of the lion. I come not as a man of riches, he said, kneeling, but as a man who was poor in wisdom until he met you. Will you be my partner? Not because of what I have, but because of who we are together. Amina didn't hesitate. She smiled, took his hand and whispered, I saw your heart before I knew your name. Their wedding was unlike any the village had ever seen. It wasn't flashy. There were no silk robes or golden bangles. Instead, it was held beneath the same old baobab where the beggar had first pretended to rest. The community came together. People sang. Drums beat like thunder. Elders told stories of love and truth. The children danced barefoot. And in the middle of it all, Amina and Baraka exchanged vows written not on paper, but in the hearts of everyone present. Baba Lema watched from a woven chair, a satisfied smile on his lips. His plan had worked, but more importantly, his son had healed. Years later, People still spoke of the old beggar who had changed the course of love in the village. Young men learned to look beyond appearances. Young women learned to hold fast to their dignity. And Baba Lema, now with silver hair and a wrinkled face, would often sit under the baobab with his grandchildren and say, "Love, my children, is not found in coins or clothes. It's found in mango halves, in songs by the well, and in the eyes that see who you are when no one else is watching."